Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, January. Is it January 5th already? So, of course, we're talking about if you look at the news, Zoe's now put all the information, and she's doing this for my senility, of course. So, if you open up the news that you get at roughly 7:14, I'm going to check my email real quick. When did this come in? It came in at 7:15. She tweaked it, obviously. Maybe the 14 was bothering her. She now will remind you every day on that email that it is 90 days out to Tuesday, April 5th. So we're having an April 5th conversation. If you are, and I was having this conversation yesterday with one of our great agents, Tanya, and she was talking about the fact that she helped 30 families last year, Amazeballs, as a solo artist. She eclipsed 11 million in volume, Amazeballs. She wanted to do 100K. I think she did 280 in GCI. So needless to say, she's having a pretty good 12 minutes. And we started to go through her vital signs. And she's like, yeah, I'm not really tracking those. And I guess this is the conversation for today is if you are, entrepreneurially doing 280 in GCI, Westcott, if you're entrepreneurially helping 30 families, and she's obviously more purposeful. She's now engaged with Jason Houle, our transaction coordinator. She's brought on marketing and design. She's doing all these things because she's starting to leverage herself out virtually and physically with some people around her to solve the do, delegate, dump conversation. And I said to her, well, what if you were putting these, what if you had a whiteboard with your vital signs written down? And what if you had the whiteboard with your active buyers and active listings? So you could look up every day and just have a general idea as opposed to a shoulder shrug. And let's remind you, she helped 30 families last year. She did 11 million in volume and 280 in GCI. And she's like, I don't know, let me look. Like, can you imagine what her numbers would be? Can you imagine how locked and loaded she'd be if she had the numbers right in front of her every day? So she's heading in that direction, which is good. So to know that it's April 5th can be painstaking. It's also a friendly reminder that if you don't really have anything going on right now, you already couldn't afford to go out for a drink on March 17th. If you're choosing to have a cocktail, if you're choosing to pretend that you're Irish, even though you're not, which I clearly am, Dunder Mifflin Stock White, as you can see. So in that regard, if you are looking for an opportunity to maybe have one of your favorite lenders on the planet support you with a cocktail on March 17th, we do have a way that you could pull that off. There's going to be a graduation party. Presuming we're allowed to play in the same space, there'll be a graduation party on March 17th for Bold that is coming in 2 weeks. Rob Daniel is back tomorrow to do open houses. He's going to do FISBOs next week. And then on Thursday, the 20th, boys, is the sponsored First Step brought to you by Annie Mack and our friend Brad Kelly and his team down the hall. So what is Bold, people ask? And just had this question the other day, Westcott, and I'll let you answer and see if you and I are on the same page. I think we are. I mean, we're definitely always on the right-hand side of the fairway. Is that once you get past the third tree line, is it still the fairway? It's not. Anyway, so if someone's newer or even they landed yesterday, the question is, well, should I be, and right now, because we're in the month right now, we're January, we're doing Ignite right now regionally that starts at 9 o'clock by the by, kids. If you click on the link in the news, that'll take you there. If you do that, you could do that, and then all the while, when Bold gets started, jump into that. If you were landing today, my recommendation would be do Ignite because it's here and it's complimentary all month. And then I would engage in Bold. I don't think there's a waiting period for Bold. I don't think you have to be like, and now the argument would be, well, Bold, I heard like Bold is like next level. Like you should do Ignite first. Sure. Bold's the deep end of the pool. Yes. And no one here is going to let you drown. Right? I mean, would you agree,
Yeah.
Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I also would tell people that this is life, so jump in the deep end.
Yes. Well,
I mean,
I would always say if you want to learn Spanish, do you get Rosetta Stone? You could, or do you go to the Dominican Republic
yeah,
and
you go to-
figure
I
it
have
out?
Pimsleur.
What's that?
I have Pimsleur.
Pimsleur. Okay, so Robert has Pimsleur. Of course he does. Of course he does.
but I mean, take a look at anybody around you. Like anytime I want to look at something, the number one thing I always did when it came to Bold was I'm investing in myself. So I've learned. I'm a 9-time Bold graduate. So for me, every time I've done Bold, I got something different.
So it took you 8 additional times to figure it out, and you probably still don't have it understood.
Well, no. Every time you take it, you get a different perspective from a different coach.
Huh.
They
Hang
emphasize
on.
on different stuff. So,
I'll write that down.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
Call
Huh.
Gary.
I'm
But
gonna write.
take a look around. All of the people that are in this industry, whether they're Keller Williams or other brokerages or leading people, they jump every day. Steve Harvey does a big thing about how you have to jump, right? Like if you want to be successful in anything, you have to jump, right? You have to get out of your comfort zone and do it. And that's what Bold does. Bold takes a comfort zone. I don't care if you're, an agent that got your license yesterday or you're Melissa Lesniak on her 19th Bold. They're going to push her out of her comfort level. Her comfort level may be here where yours is here, but either way, they're going to push you guys to that next level.
I'll have you
Right.
know it's going to be her 21st Bold, sir.
Right.
Which I didn't say it to her, and I know she'll do another one this year, so she's going to do her 22nd Bold in 22.
Yeah.
Which is obnoxious, right? In the best of ways. So I love that you just brought that up too, because John Maxwell has a video that you can subscribe to. They send it out every morning. It's called Minute with Maxwell. And yesterday's, he talked about, and he said something brilliant at Mega Camp a couple years ago, which we'll get to in a second. Yesterday's video was about the decision point and the action point. And there's this father talking to the son, and he gives him a riddle, and he says, so there's 5 frogs on a log, and 4 of them decide to jump. How many frogs are left on the log?
Bud Light commercial.
5 are left on the log because 4 of them decided to jump, although they didn't take the action. Right?
No one jumped.
So if you're chock full of piss and vinegar and you're like on your 19th Natty Light on New Year's Eve and you're like, I'm going to be amazing next year. Where are my pants? And then you're still sitting here in indecision. You're still not signed up for the complimentary First Step to Bold, boldportsmouth.com. And you're thinking, should I do this? You should. If you missed Rob Daniel last Thursday, he's going to be back at it tomorrow doing open houses. He's going to teach another precursor class next Thursday. I believe we're doing FISBOs. And then on the 20th, it gets started in earnest. That is going to be at 9 o'clock. So Digital Bold is going to run from 9 to noon. It runs through, like we said, St. Patrick's Day. And then we are going to arrange some sort of a graduation party. Getting back to the cocktail premise. So, and John Maxwell had a great conversation with Gary a few years ago at Mega. And he asked he asked everybody in the crowd, he's like, do you feel like you have uphill goals with downhill actions? Like, are you aspiring? Do you have aspirational goals? You've got this mountaintop you want to get to, but you're not doing the activities to actually crest the mountaintop, right? Yeah. So, does your audio match your video? A great maps coach once said to me, is your audio matching your video? And that's what will happen. People will make these aspirational goals. They'll tell everybody December 31st, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And you're sitting today wondering, like, what am I going to get for lunch? So we're just offering you an opportunity. 4,000% of the stuff that we do here, guys, is always just part of your experience at KW. There are very few initiatives that come through that are at a cost. They're at a cost because we have a Bold teacher that's coming in. His name is Rob Daniel. It's $3.99, and we have mentioned, and I will remind you, boys, we do pay everybody back through their transactions, right? So you graduate on St. Patrick's Day. You have until September 17th, 6 months, and you'd have to try not to. 6 months to close 4 deals in which Nathan is elected to pay you back $199. I feel like he'll just give you $400, but it might be $99. Anyway, you're going to get paid back in full. So you really, to Jason's point, you're investing in yourself for 6 months.
I've never paid for a Bold.
Yeah, you get paid back. I mean, you do, and then we get the conversation. Well, if you're going to do that, just make it free.
No,
it won't happen. I as a parent, I immediately go to my parents, right? I immediately go to my kids. I remember growing up, and Richard E. Lindsay was following us around the house, shutting all the lights off. Now I'm that guy, right? Shutting all the lights off. Yes, like Aiden and Cameron do not pay, the electricity bill. It's free. It's just on. Yeah, it's magic. There's a tree out back with money on it, right? So to have some skin in the game, there is. You cut all yours down.
Yes, I did. Yep.
Robert and Michelle plowed through their money tree on their tractor.
I plowed through the money tree.
The money on the tree you need to pay for the tractor that you ran over. Did you run over yourself? We'll talk about this some other time.
No.
No. The wife didn't run him
My
over
foot
either.
She threatened.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've met you. I completely understand.
she was in the right.
Yeah. So without fail, Bold is in the next couple of weeks. We talked about this before we came on the air, Jason. Just the people yesterday. Oh, remember I made a prediction yesterday, Robert, about what Dr. Lesniak might do with her winnings?
Yes.
Yeah, I was pretty close. I got her on the horn last night on the way home. She is taking the $2,022. So in order, this is what's happening with the winnings from the contest. If you see Nathan Dickey in the hallways, the mythical creature that runs us, thank him for being so generous. So $2,022 going to Melissa Lesniak. She's taking that money. She is offering a Bold scholarship to someone who is in need. So we'll talk about that in the next couple of weeks. She has an intern that she just brought on. She's sending them to Bold. She is making a donation to the Dover Mental Health Alliance. And then she's taking the balance and she is going on, and Westcott and I joke about this. So you hear Lesniak's going on a cruise. You're like, she's finally going to relax. It's a real estate cruise.
Of course.
Yeah. She'll come back with a tan and 7 listings. Yeah, she's going to come back with a tan and 7 listings. So she's going on a real estate cruise.
And it's all agents on there. She's going to get listings from the. Yeah,
can you imagine?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine what's going on that cruise full of real estate agents? There's a whole bunch of woo girls on that boat. Anyway, so her and Darlene are going on their real estate cruise, and she's like, there's obviously opportunities on that ship to elevate your experience and maybe go to a fine dining experience, and she's going to take Darlene to do something really nice. So not shocked by her generosity, not shocked by the fact that Michael Whitney knocked on my door yesterday, and he took third prize. He is doing, he's got the Bold Scholarship, and he is going to donate that to somebody. He's going to give it to somebody on his team or donate it. And then, of course, Carol Goodwin took the 478, and she's applying that to the Bold that she already signed up for. Isn't it weird how all the people who participated in the contest for the Bold 100 before Bold starts on a Saturday, who are all cappers, by the way, all very successful agents, are going back into the fray to take the class again. So it's not about, oh, my God, you got to take it 9 times like Westcott because you're wicked not smart. That's not it.
How do you know contracts so well? Be, do, achieve.
Yes. Be, do, achieve. So hyper important that you get signed up. Go to boldportsmouth.com. There's a link below the inflammation about the class. It's gray. I wish it was purple. Dear Texas, make it purple. There's a link below there. You click for the first step. You can go into the first step. You be there on the 20th, and you really get your feet wet. At that point, you still have that day to sign up. Or you can click over and just go to the $3.99 and sign up now. You're going to have all the accoutrement that everybody else gets when they go to a regular class. It's going to be delivered to you digitally, obviously, and we'll have that graduation party brought to you by Brad. I haven't actually confirmed that Brad's doing this graduation party. I've just made him our title sponsor, so I guess he's in.
Yeah,
I guess whether he likes it or not, he's in.
You volunteered him.
Yeah, Brad always supports these things, so he's happy to do it. So please, boldportsmouth.com, boldportsmouth.com, boldportsmouth.com. Contracts today.
Yes.
Dear Jason, what's going on? All 3, triple header.
Triple header. Now, let
me ask you this, because I think people get confused by this. If I'm not licensed in all 3 states, would you go to all 3?
I always have. You can learn something from another state that you could use in this state. For instance, Maine has a kill date in their contract. Maine, in the purchase and sale agreement, says
my wife would like to know more about that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, it says this contract is valid till January 5th at 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Nathan will tell you in New Hampshire to be adding kill dates to your contract because even though your offer wasn't accepted, that is still a living contract out there. So somebody could sign that, and guess what? Your buyer is on the hook to buy that property.
Yes.
You can learn stuff from other states. Now that we're deep diving into Vermont and having a lot of conversations with Jen as we get into that. Vermont has some really cool stuff, right? So we then will take stuff like we'll have an agent call us and say, we need a clause, and we'll give them one. They're like, wow, you're really good at that. And I'm like, yeah, that's just stolen from Mass.
Yeah. It's the language that works in other states, right? But we just need to obviously understand the machination of these contracts.
You should be attending. I've been attending contracts class since the day I came to Keller Williams.
Well, from day one. If you remember the women's prison on Islington Street, beautiful building, by the way. I mean, but we've been doing them on a weekly basis forever, right? forever. Now, and you might talk to other brokerages, you might talk to other market centers. They're like, oh, we do it once a month. Or we do it for 17 minutes once a year. You missed it. It's like Haley's Comet or Puxatawny Phil. Like, no, we're doing them every week for an hour because this is it. This is it. Like,
this is what we are, a contract business. I had a broker the other day call me and say, you Keller Williams agents, all you guys, you always want to stick to the dates of these contracts. It's ridiculous.
Go on. You guys are real sticklers for all this legalese. Yes. Yeah. Good morning. Oh, Gary called. Excellent. There it is.
No, this is the commission and Gary. We're conferencing.
Yeah, he's on a conference call. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'll let him know. Perfect. You Keller Williams agents stick to the deals. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. It's not, and you could take us laughing as like being braggadocious. That's not it at all. If you're ever out in the wild, and I can say this because I've got more than most. You're out in the wild, and one of the cottonheads, decides to tell you that like, I've been doing this for 75 years. I scratched up the contract for the manger for Mary and Joseph. Like, cool, and check the dates at the bottom of the contract. Like, you're using one from 1983. It's on cheesecloth. We got to move down the road here, Barry, right? So, like, this I've been doing this forever doesn't mean anything. Time on task could beat talent every time. If you're in the classroom today for contract class, and if you're endeavoring, you've got New Hampshire, you're going to get Maine, to Jason's points, you're going to hear conversational aspects that are around other contracts so you could apply to conversations and negotiations. And I think that's something people get lost on. Well, I got to get good at my scripts to just get to the kitchen table. There's all these layers of these conversations, right? And I know people are adverse to the word scripts. This just in, that's what they're called, right? I know people are like, well, no, call them negotiations. No, negotiations is hunting. Scripts are ammunition.
Right.
There's a differentiation there, right? So I got to get good at this call to get to your kitchen table. And then once I get to the kitchen table and get you signed, now I'm negotiating with brokers.
Right.
Then we go under contract. Now I'm not negotiating with you, but I'm helping you in your head fall back in love with the house that you're buying because you're falling out of love of it because we got the inspection report, right? So we always do a almost silent golf clap when you go under contract. Congratulations, we're not there yet. Now you have to sell them the house again. And it's about all these different layers of scripts, and negotiating with the other broker is a big part of it. So when you're hearing these tales from the crypt and tales from the wild about, I was talking to this one person and this came up and this is how we engineered it. And then you're hearing about, when that comes up, I'm going to Westcott. I'm going to JV. Or you hear about, and then quarterly, when you get into the room with JV and Hyde, you hear about the big boy and the big girl stuff, right? And those are cautionary tales that you hopefully never have to run into because you're hearing from Hyde. If it starts to go this way, you should be raising your hand and going to somebody. There's no lack of help here. And I think the best thing to do, and we say this all the time, if it does get real sticky, Westcott and JV are invariably always in the room. You'll see me in the room. Like Nate and Hyde and Baby Jesus are probably going to call us and be like, so somebody's in trouble. How often are they in contracts? That's important. Because if you're in there and you still got tripped up, at least we know that you're in there attempting to gain knowledge. Not haphazardly, like, I got a $9.8 million commercial deal. What do I do? Well, put the paper down, step away, right? Let's have an honest conversation about, getting the right people involved in the conversation so we don't all get sued.
It's funny because you talked earlier about tracking, right? The agent that came to you and said, well, I don't really track my numbers. I will tell you right now, we track everything. Every phone call you make to me or Jen or Nathan is tracked. Nate can go in and put in Jay Westcott's name and go, look, in 2013, I had to call Jay about this.
Yep.
He's like J. Edgar Hoover. He's got information on all of us. Yeah. But, that's what we do because we have to. That's how we know what to bring for training, and that's how we know what to talk to Hyde about. You know what I mean? Like, we have to track everything. So, I mean, when you get to that level, and the best negotiators are the people that know the contractors better, right? Yep. Like, that's people say to me, like, me and Jen did a big deal. She was on with the buyers, on with the seller, and we saved the deal. And they're like, how do you guys not do that? Jen's like, because we know the contracts. I can appreciate you want to do that, and we can't. Look, we signed this saying that.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to bring people back down to ground level of what they signed and what they agreed to.
Yep.
So,
well, we're super fortunate because without fail, the connection point between the commission and Nathan, JV, you, Doyle's on the commission, Hyde's on the commission. Like we've always said, the stuff we're saying, like, hey guys, just letting you know, in the next couple of years, you might want to pull realty out of your team name.
Yep.
Because that's going to be a thing soon, right? And then we had to obviously amalgamate all of our names, so we go to Keller Williams Coastal Lakes and Ampersand Mountains, right? Those little things, like, oh, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's going to be a big deal when it costs you $1 because you missed something that we were talking about in contracts, and just simply scrolling down and reading the emails. So just staying plugged in. If you made a commitment to yourself to make all these changes in your personal life and your business life, one of the things we're going to ask you to be is just be a little more thorough. We talk about Gary's 5 jobs all the time, right? Lead gen, lead follow-up, right? Lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, script and role play. And I would always add, after lead follow-up, lead follow-through. Let's just have better follow-through this year and be more thorough. Your clients are always going to adore you that you were persnickety about their transaction. Not like, I'm going to care a little bit more on this one because there's 3 decimal points in it. Not a good idea. Right? This is their castle. This is their biggest financial transaction of their life. And we're here to represent them until the contract comes into play. Thank you, Mr. Duffy. And then together with our clients, we represent the contract. It is the entirety of our responsibility. And we've only been given this responsibility by the governor to conduct these transactions, right? And we're not lawyers. As soon as you start to go down that rabbit hole, like, oh, I got this. Hang on a second. Yeah, I drove past Suffolk 30 years ago. I'm a lawyer. No, you're not, Jimmy. Put down the pen. Put down the pen. Yeah. So we just got to,
step away from the pen.
Yeah. We start to refer stuff out. Like, you got to refer to your attorney for that. You should refer to your accountant for that. As Jason always says, be the source of the source.
Never the source.
Park your ego. We are going to be better off for it. So contracts today, it feels like a full morning. You know why? Because it is. It's 3 hours of contracts. If you are licensed to kill in all 3 states, you should be in that room for 3 hours. And like, well, I got something planned. Nothing should be planned. Go into your calendar now and block off those 3 hours. I'll let you guess. Are you able to book Zoe and I for the next 3 hours? No, you're not.
I'm going to say no.
Because I'm not going to tell you that meeting with me is more important than going into that classroom and not getting arrested. You can get arrested.
Jen will say it all the time. Jen will be teaching contrast class, and she'll say, "Does somebody want to call Jason Westcott and tell him to get on here and ask me what he wants to ask me?" You know what I mean? So you're not going to get me, Jen, or Alice, or Karen Hamilton either, because that's where we're in the class teaching it. You know what I mean? So if you guys have any questions, jump into the contrast class and ask away.
It's the most important thing. So normally tomorrow, I would not be here, and Robert and Jason drive, although I will be here tomorrow, and the boys have the morning off. So I will be here tomorrow. I have a special guest who is just as short as I am, definitely better looking, has red hair, and owns the place. And, that guy. So Nathan's going to be here tomorrow. And also, if you haven't met her, she's like a cartoon character. Wait till you see her. She's adorable. Her name is Camille. She is helping Nathan make an announcement about something really cool they put together. That's tomorrow at 8:30. So be here for that on the Quick Start. And then Friday, Robert and I will be back, and we're just going to juggle for 30 minutes. Or talk about, maybe we'll talk about both.
You boys doing the Doyle Challenge?
No, the 75 hard? No, I'm... 2 things about me. This isn't 75, and it's all soft. Yeah, so there's no 75. Yeah.
I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
I was at the gym at 3 o'clock. I posted this morning, 3:30 at the gym, walking out at 5:15.
I love that you. So talk to me about this, because we talked about it quickly yesterday, and we'll spend a few more minutes on this because I think it's hyper important. If people are into this, they should know all about this. Doyle threw out the challenge, which apparently Westcott's now in. So now you've got 2 people in the building that are highly visible that are going to do it. I don't know. I think, does Doyle have a little fat behind her pinky now? Like, what is she trying to lose?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think she's going to hit her thumb with
Doyle's like 78 and a half pounds soaking wet. But God bless her. It's all about. Here's the thing, too. And I know this as a former fat guy, then thin guy, and now fat guy again. And Jason knows this as he loses his weight. And congratulations, brother. You look great. It's all about the health. Like my sister right now is on her journey, and she had lost weight a long time ago with our friends over at Fat Watchers, and then gained a bunch back on. She's down about 80 right now, and as I know Jason agrees, and as I've always said, nothing tastes better than healthy feels, right? And you'll hear a lot of people that are in diet programs like nothing tastes better than skinny feels. Well, I don't want to use the word skinny. Because I think while you're doing whatever you're doing, if you are looking to lose weight, the non-scale victories, the mental stuff, like you going to the gym this morning, mentally sets you up to make better nutritional decisions throughout the rest of the day, right?
Yeah.
And also during the holidays, you can be like, I went to the gym, I crushed it, I know I ripped off 750 calories. That donut, 749, still winning, right? You know, you could. Yeah. But so the 75 hard challenge, which I've seen, it seems to be getting augmented. It's 2 workouts. Are you doing 30s or 45s?
So she posted 230s on the challenge. 230s.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think once you've graduated from this the first time, unless you're ready to, then you can move it to 45s. It's 2 workouts. One needs to be outdoors. So what are you doing? Your beach march?
Yeah, so I'll do my beach march so you'll see me down. If anybody's a hockey player and wants to play against a former AHL guy, you guys can meet me down the Christmas dub and play me one-on-one. And even though I'm fat, you're going to lose. We'll play a little 5-bar down.
Remember Nintendo hockey? Remember Nintendo hockey? The skinny guy, the medium guy, and the big guy? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So good. So good. Yeah.
So a little 5-bar down. Brad Kelly might show up.
Oh, Brad Kelly's a bruiser. You get him and Sam Afont out there? It'd be like the Charlestown Chiefs. Yeah. We're putting on the foil. So if you're doing 2 workouts, they can be 30 or 45 minutes. One is supposed to be outdoors. Yep. So if you see Jason out there on his skates, like looking like Nanook of the North, that's what he's doing. And I know that you don't drink, so there's no alcohol.
No, I got my 47-year chip. I'll be getting my 46-year chip in April. So
amazing.
46.
I've never drank alcohol.
He's never drank. He's never drank. So
I'm like,
yeah,
when you were 3, you stopped.
Yeah. No. Listen, kindergarten, she broke his heart, and he never looked back.
Wow,
right? So,
it was a tough first 3 years.
Yeah.
Mrs.
What a trollop! She broke his heart. Anyway,
yeah.
and then there's no alcohol, and whatever you do for a nutritional regimen, it doesn't matter. Just stick to some nutritional regimen. Run some because everybody's different. So that's where they leave it wide open. You're doing keto-ish, correct? Or are you doing straight up?
I do clean keto.
Clean keto, yes. We joked yesterday. My wife calls it dirty keto. Every once in a while, a piece of cake shows up.
And the other thing, like dirty keto, could be like you go to McDonald's and you get a double cheeseburger and a salad. You 86 the bun. Like people, that you'll technically go into ketosis doing that. You're just eating some really bad meat. So
1,000%. That is grade C minus beef. Yeah.
Yeah. I go to Whole Foods. I shop at Whole Foods or I shop at like local butchers. There's a couple places in the local area that actually slaughter animals right on site, and you can get grass-fed. It's phenomenal.
Oh, I can imagine. I just don't know if I want to be there for that.
What's that, Robert? There's one right over by your house.
Yeah. Well, wear your boots if you're going. Jeez.
Well, I don't know. It's a store. I don't go to that.
No. He's not on back. If it's by me, which one are you talking about?
Warren's Farm.
Oh yeah. Now I just got it as you said that. I figured out. Yeah.
And then
you're doing. Clean keto. I did get off my diet from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Yep.
Not because of the holiday. People are like, oh, it's the holiday. No. If you get into keto and you start reading a lot about it, they do tell you to do what's called a carb reload. Your brain really does need carbs, and your body will produce carbs out of keto and ketosis and all that.
Sure.
Yet they say that every once in a while you should like overload the carb thing again. And the reason why I do that is because as you guys know, just over a year ago now, I had COVID really bad, and I made sure that I did not get the loose term of it, COVID brain, which is like the foggy, where am I type thing.
Yep.
So I'm trying to not mess around with any of that. So I do come off of keto for about 4 weeks every 5 months.
You're supposed to crank a gallon of water.
Yep.
And then
I did it today. I've already done it.
You're reading. I've seen different people throw out different ways because everybody keeps augmenting this. Either 10 minutes of nonfiction or 10 pages of nonfiction a day.
Yep.
And then a progress photo. So that is the 75 hard. Doyle started yesterday. Jason started yesterday.
We're officially kicking off on the 10th. Doyle did the officials start the 10th, but I'm pre-gaming. I'm getting ready for it.
Okay. Well, and then the one thing to remember is if you jack it up, you start over.
Right.
You start over. It's like the 66 challenge. If you go on the website for the one thing, Jeff Woods has a calendar with the 66 days, and you just hang it on your fridge. It could be the simplest thing. I'm going to make my bed for 66 days, right? Because the studies show after 66 days you can take a discipline and form a good new habit. So if you screw up that 66 days, you start over again. And the same with the 75 hard. If you jack it up somehow, you just start fresh.
So
I admire. I admire Sue for trying to get back to her. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I said I do. So I'm going to have to go meet with Coach.com, and we're going to have to talk about bikes because I got to get outside more, and so I'm gonna get a bike.
I will happily take you shopping across the street with our friends. Our good friend Mac across the street at Colonial Bicycles. It's a Trek shop. I mean, there's a ton of different great brands. Great brands. I'm a little bit of a Trek head, but yeah, there's a lot of great. I know Kara Chase's husband rides for Commensal now. Those are great bikes, and people sort of like look down upon these things, but e-bikes are also hyper popular as well. Because if an e-bike will give you assist. It's not like a moped, but it will give you levels of assist. So when you turn on level 1, 2, or 3, and all of them are different, there's a battery pack that's in the crank set. There's a battery pack on the down tube. And if you're like Kara's husband was talking about, Aaron said, if you're out on a wicked big haul, and he's riding with pro guys, and they're going out for miles, and he's like, when I'm coming back, if I want to turn on a little assist, like it's fine. But people absolutely love them. My wife and I were at Lake George in New York a few Columbus days ago. And of course, we have a ton of bikes, so I brought my fat bike. She brought one of my other bikes. And there's these old people. One guy goes by on an e-bike, and he's barely pedaling. He's doing about 38, reading the paper. He's got a coffee. Yeah, she's like, I want one of those. So yeah, I think the wife's gonna get an e-bike eventually. But yeah, super cool. But I'm happy to go shopping with you, Jason. And I'll tell you right now. Here's my spoiler alert. I think if you don't have a bike and you're thinking mountain bike, I'll tell you the fat bike. Because a fat bike will serve all the seasons. The reason the fat bike concept, you think, oh, well, Lindsay has a fat bike because he's fat. No, yes, and no. But the fat bike, the tires are wide because they pour out more, so they serve better on the snow. I have a complete separate set of tires with studs in them for the snow. And then they also spread out. You can ride them on the beach. So if you think your budget is like, I'm a one bike kind of kid and I want a really fun bike that'll ride in all the seasons, I'm going to tell you fat bike 38,000 times. And they're so much fun, super cool. I'll post a picture on Facebook so you guys can know what the hell I'm talking about. Love, love, love. Anyway, Robert, you're going to say something real quick, then we'll let the kids get back to it.
No. I just want to remind people two things. The Tech Lab is open today from 2 to 3.
Yes, sir.
And that's at kwtechtv.com. And then tomorrow morning, there's going to be a lot going on tomorrow. One of the main things is the orientation for the new agents. And that starts at 9 a.m. at Keller TV. So if you are a new agent or not, you are an agent, or someone who just wants to get caught up on all of the great stuff that is not only available to you, but information, accessibility. There's just so much packed into that day tomorrow. And even if you can't make the whole day, pop in for some of it. You'll get something. And the best part about it is tomorrow, we're actually going to record it proper.
Ooh. Yeah,
and
so
that means
it will be in all the places.
It will be all the places. It'll be on the kwclmtraining.com portal. Last month we had a little technical issues with the Zoom recording. So this month we are going to make sure that we get it recorded, and you're going to have the most up-to-date, latest goodness, including all of Jen Vashon's discussions of the contracts and the essential forms. So that's all going to be tomorrow and available probably within a couple, 3 days on the LMS because it takes a couple days to sort it all out. But I'm excited for that.
Wouldn't it be cool to work at a brokerage that has all of the things? Oh, that's right. You're here. Welcome. And we adore you guys. Please lean into it. When you think to yourself, my God, there's so much, it's overwhelming, welcome. We're not going to turn it down. We're not going to slow down. All the accoutrements are here. Everything you need to kick ass and take names is here. And like I use a lot of bad analogies. They're always about food. This is like a Vegas buffet. It's always open. The food is always hot. When you need some nutrition, fill your plate, sit down, chew 22 times, digest, implement, and then guess what?
Yep.
There's still
Just
food.
like Circus.
Yes. Circus. I think
It's just like
I'm going to tell this story at
buffet.
another time, but when I was in the Boy Scouts, we went to Vegas. Long story. Yeah. And we stayed at Circus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Show me on the doll where the bad man. Anyway, so that's beside the point. If you need Jason Westcott or Jennifer Vashon, you're calling Jason 603-234-2589. If you need your marketing and design help, it is Time with Babs, BABS, timewithbabs.com. And if you're looking for Robert, it is timewithrobert.com. Don't forget today at 2, open door lab hours at kwtechtv.com. And if you need me, it's meetwithcoach.com. Questions, comments, concerns, 603-834-2856, boldportsmouth.com.